I want to tell you something uncomfortable, something most people my age don't say out loud because it makes younger people uneasy. Almost everything you've been taught about how life unfolds is wrong. Not a little wrong, completely wrong. And I know that sounds dramatic. I would have thought the same thing when I was younger. I used to roll my eyes at old men who spoke like this. I thought they were bitter, or nostalgic, or just afraid of dying. Now I understand they were trying clumsily to warn us. I spent most of my life convinced I was doing everything right. I followed the rules. I did what was expected. I delayed pleasure. I chased stability. I told myself the sacrifices would be worth it later. Later is a dangerous word. I grew up in Ohio, the son of a factory worker and a mother who never stopped being tired. From a young age, the message was clear. Work hard, don't complain. Be grateful, don't risk too much. Survival first, living later. So I built my life carefully. No big leaps, no wild turns. I studied accounting because it was practical. I married young because that was the next step. I bought a house because that's what adults did. I worked and worked and worked, and everyone told me I was doing great. By 40, I had a solid job, 2 kids, a mortgage, and a reputation for being reliable. That word followed me everywhere. Reliable, dependable, steady. No one ever called me alive. The years passed quietly, not painfully, not joyfully either, just efficiently. I woke up early. I commuted. I sat in meetings. I came home tired. I watched television. I slept. Weekends were for errands. Vacations were brief and filled with email. I told myself this was adulthood. Then when I was 58, my wife left. Not in a dramatic way, no shouting, no infidelity, just a calm, exhausted conversation at the kitchen table. She said she felt like she had been living next to a stranger for years. She said she didn't know who she was anymore. She said she didn't want to die feeling like this. I didn't know what to say. I wanted to argue facts. Our history, our stability, everything we had built. But something stopped me, because she was right. After she left, the house felt enormous and hollow. I would sit alone at night and realize there was no one who really needed me there. The kids were grown. My job didn't care if I stayed late or not. The walls didn't remember me. That was the first crack. The second came a year later. When I retired, you're told retirement is a reward, a finish line. You imagine freedom, relief, rest. What no one tells you is that if your identity is built entirely on productivity, retirement feels like erasure. I woke up one morning with nowhere to go and nothing expected of me. And that's when the panic started. Not loud panic, quiet panic. The kind that sits in your chest and whispers questions you've avoided your whole life. Who are you? If no one needs your output, what was all that for? If your life were over now, what would it mean? I realized something terrifying. I had spent decades preparing for a future I had never defined. I had been waiting to live, waiting until the kids were older, waiting until work slowed down, waiting until I felt secure enough, waiting until permission arrived. It never did. I started looking back, and the regrets didn't come as explosions. They came as small, sharp memories. A friend who invited me on a cross-country trip in my 30s. I said no because of work. We lost touch. He died last year. A guitar I bought at 25 and never learned to play because I was too busy. My father sitting alone in his living room on Sundays, asking if I could come by. I usually said next week. There is a special kind of pain in realizing your life wasn't ruined. It was simply missed. You don't feel it when you're young. You feel busy, important, needed. You feel like momentum equals meaning. It doesn't. Here's the truth no one likes to admit. Achievement is a poor substitute for fulfillment. It keeps you occupied, not satisfied. It gives you structure, not purpose. I reached every milestone I was told mattered, and none of them loved me back. What finally changed things wasn't a dramatic event. It was a slow understanding that time was no longer abstract. At 70, time stops feeling infinite and starts feeling personal. You don't talk about someday anymore, you talk about if. If my knees hold out, if I'm still here, if my mind stays clear. So I started doing small, rebellious things. I enrolled in a painting class even though my hands shook. I traveled alone badly and awkwardly. I called people I hadn't spoken to in decades. I said I miss you without trying to sound casual. I stopped optimizing my days and started inhabiting them. And something strange happened. Life didn't get easier, but it got richer. I noticed light, silence, conversations. I learned that joy doesn't announce itself. It shows up quietly when you stop rushing past it. If you're young and reading this, I don't want you to panic. I want you to notice. Notice how often you trade your time for approval. Notice how often you postpone what matters because it isn't urgent. Notice how easily years disappear when you're distracted. You will not remember your busiest days. You will remember the moments you were present. One day, sooner than you think, you'll look back and realize your life wasn't made of big decisions. It was made of small delays. I don't have many years left. I know that now. And oddly, that knowledge has made me gentler, braver, more honest. I no longer wait. If there's one thing I wish I understood earlier, it's this. Your life does not begin when everything is in order. It begins when you decide it's worth living now, imperfectly, unfinished, afraid. Don't spend decades preparing for a life you never enter. Time is not patient. It is not kind. It does not warn you. And one day you will realize it has been quietly collecting everything you meant to do. Don't give it so much to take. I don't know how much time I have left. I stopped trying to calculate it. My days are quieter now, slower. My sight isn't what it used to be, but my memory is still sharp, maybe sharper than it's ever been. When you stop rushing, things come back to you. Faces, voices, moments you didn't understand at the time. I used to think a life was measured by what you built. Now I think it's measured by what you noticed. And I sit here telling this story not because it's special, but because it's ordinary, and ordinary lives disappear if no one speaks them out loud. This is what my life was: careful, busy, delayed, and finally aware. There's nothing left for me to prove, nothing left to chase, just time to remember and time to speak while I still can. That's all this is, a man near the end of his road, finally saying what he lived. Thank you for watching. If this story stayed with you, you already know why.